So our picture of Mary, in large part that has been promulgated by Catholic art, is not accurate. Think peasant girl, peasant dress, pulling water from a well, out collecting firewood to heat her parents' home. Think of her as being illiterate and having dirty feet and sandals, walking around on dirt roads. If anything, she's sitting in a homemade stool by her fire, not on a gold throne with a crown on her head. Mary wouldn't even know who this person was. Here's the interesting fact. How old do you think Mary was? See a picture like that, and you're like, oh, she was in her 30s. Mary was a teenager. Mary was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years of age. Girls could be betrothed at 12, and then they'd be married by 13. Almost all of the theologians I've read think she was 12, 13, 14 years of age. Let that sink in. For those of you that have been a 12, 13-year-old girl, does that add a little flavor to the story? For those of you who are 12, 13, 14-year-old girls, your parents won't trust you with an iPod. How about God? Could you handle raising him? We don't even give them a license because we don't trust them. Even with a seatbelt and an airbag, we still don't feel that they're capable of handling something of that significance. And God comes to the junior high girl. Now, I have the great blessing, honor, privilege, joy, and I say that with all sincerity of my heart. I get to see the face of a 12-year-old girl every day, my lovely sweetie pie, my daughter Ashley, who I love with all my heart. And as I was reading the story of Mary, I thought, she was like Ashley. She's like my sweetie pie. My daughter's junior high, 12. Mary was about her age when the angel Gabriel came to her and said, you're going to give birth to God. For those of you that don't have the great delight that I do of getting to see the face of a teenage girl, and it is a great honor, I wanted to show you what they look like so you could actually have a more accurate picture of Mary. Feels different now, doesn't it? Oh. All of a sudden, Mary is no longer wearing a gold crown, sitting on a gold throne, surrounded by angels, wearing a perfectly adorned, embroidered linen garment. She's a junior high girl. And the angel Gabriel is sent to her as she's planning her wedding. Here's what he has to say to her. And he came to her and said, verse 28, greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you. But she was greatly troubled at the saying and tried to discern what sort of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor. Wonderful word. We'll explore in a moment with God. And behold, you will, promise, conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. And the Lord will give to him the throne of his father David, and he will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there will be no end, said the angel Gabriel to the junior high girl, who was probably illiterate in a really small town. It says that she was startled. That's not shocking. First, because Gabriel likely appeared as a man. and men would have not customarily approached and engaged in private with a young woman like that. Additionally, we hear that she has found favor with God. Gabriel shows up and gives this great announcement. God has favored you. He's elected you. He's chosen you. He's looked over the earth and he's favored you, Mary. Do you remember hearing in the reading in synagogue that a virgin would give birth to a child? That's you, Mary. Do you know what that word favor literally means? It's the word for grace. Undeserved favor, unmerited love. This word describes the essence of how we are saved and loved and embraced by God. Mary was saved by grace. She was chosen by God to be a recipient of grace. The same is true for all who become Christians. We're chosen by God to be recipients of grace. God's favor is upon us. So for me, as a Christian, I've received God's grace. He's favored me. If you're a Christian, He's given you grace. He's favored you. We don't deserve it. Our first question is, God, why would you favor her? And the answer is, because He's good. There's no reason beyond that. God could have looked down and said, I'll pick a wealthy young woman, or I'll pick an affluent, successful, significant woman. I'll pick a beautiful town. I'll pick a palace so that the second member of the Trinity, the Son of God, could grow up in affluence and wealth and prominence and significance and have the best education and tour and travel. And instead, Mary. I choose Mary. That's amazing. This is why we hate religion at Mars Hill. Religion is all about what you do to earn God's favor. Christianity is all about God favoring you by grace, taking nobody from nowhere and giving them love.